Have you ever stopped to think about how many things you've started with enthusiasm, only to abandon halfway through? Maybe it was that gym that seemed like the solution to improve your health and energy, or an online course that promised to boost your career. It could even have been a personal project you swore you'd see through this time. In the beginning, the energy and excitement were there. But as days passed, routine started to press in, motivation waned, and what once seemed so important ended up left behind. And suddenly, without realizing it, you gave up. Why does this happen so often? If you think it's because you're lazy, weak, or lack discipline, you're mistaken. These are labels society imposes. But the explanation is much deeper. To understand, we need to analyze how our emotional, psychological, and even biological patterns function. By comprehending these processes, you can begin to free yourself from this cycle of abandonment and procrastination that hinders your growth. The truth is, it all starts with an invisible trap: the illusion of initial enthusiasm. Whenever something new enters our lives, be it an idea, a project, or an activity, our brain releases dopamine, the neurotransmitter responsible for pleasure and reward sensations. It's that wave of excitement that makes us think, "This time, it's going to work." However, the problem is that our brain is addicted to novelty, not consistency. When the novelty starts to lose its shine, dopamine levels drop, and the natural tendency is to begin self-sabotaging. We think, maybe this isn't for me. I don't think I'm ready. Or, I'll leave it for later. Thus, the cycle restarts, and you're back to square one. But what if I told you there's a way to avoid this? That it's possible to break this pattern and finally sustain what you start? The secret lies in understanding the difference between motivation and commitment. Motivation is fleeting, volatile, and unpredictable. It comes and goes. Commitment, on the other hand, is what keeps you moving even when the excitement fades. It's what makes you push forward on tough days when all you want is to quit. And this is where many fail. They make promises to themselves without creating systems to uphold those promises. Why do we act this way? Because we've been conditioned to value the end result, not the process. From an early age, we're taught to celebrate the achievement and ignore the journey that led us there. The important thing is to pass the exam, get the diploma, reach the ideal weight. It hardly matters if the learning was meaningful, if the daily effort was worthwhile, or if consistency was maintained. This creates an immediate gratification mindset, focused on quick rewards. But the reality is that no true change happens overnight. Significant transformations require time, patience, and consistency. So, how do we break this cycle? The answer lies in adopting small daily actions and committing to them. Instead of promising grand results, focus on creating sustainable habits that make sense in your daily life. For example, if you want to start reading more, don't say, "I'll read 30 books this year." Instead, set something measurable and realistic, like, "I'll read 10 pages every day at 8 p.m. Turn the goal into clear actions. When you establish a system like this, based on the process and not the result, you move from inertia to action. Another crucial point is understanding your patterns of self-sabotage. Notice, do you tend to give up at the same point every time? Maybe it's when things get tougher, or when you start doubting yourself. That's the moment you need to be most attentive, because it's like identifying the leak in a bucket. Only by recognizing where the problem lies can you fix it. Here's a powerful insight. The feeling of progress is even more important than progress itself. When you feel you're advancing, even slowly, it fuels your motivation and creates a positive cycle. Therefore, celebrate small achievements. Acknowledge the steps you've taken, no matter how minor. These victories are essential to keep you on the right path. Also, remember that not every feeling should be obeyed. Often, decisions based on fleeting emotions steer us away from our goals. Feeling bored? Keep going. Feeling doubtful? Press on. The secret is understanding that action generates desire, not the other way around. Consistency is what differentiates those who achieve their goals from those who merely dream about them. The transformation journey isn't linear. There will be tough days, moments of doubt, and even setbacks. But these moments don't define who you are. What matters is your ability to persist, to rise after each stumble, and to keep moving forward. Every small step is a victory. Every day you choose not to give up is a triumph. Finally, try a simple exercise. Choose something you started and abandoned in recent months. Resume it today. Not tomorrow, not next week, but today. It could be something small, like picking up that book you set aside, or something bigger, like continuing a personal project. The important thing is not to think about the whole, but the next step. And then another. The goal isn't to finish quickly, but to keep progressing. And here's one last reflection. Every time you fulfill a promise to yourself, you're strengthening your self-esteem. When you fail to keep promises to yourself, you weaken the trust you have in you. But when you fulfill what you said, even if it's something small, you begin to see yourself as someone reliable and capable. And that changes everything. Because, in the end, it's not just about what you achieve, but about who you become along the way. If you've made it this far, congratulations! You're already proving that there's something different about you, that you're truly seeking to grow. And that's the mindset that transforms. Remember, you don't need to change your whole life at once. You just need to take small steps every day. And in the future, you'll be proud that you kept going. To put it simply, the main point is, understanding why we abandon projects and commitments goes beyond blaming a lack of discipline or motivation. It all begins with the initial enthusiasm triggered by dopamine. But since our brain values novelty, that excitement quickly fades. The solution to breaking the cycle is to replace motivation with commitment and to create systems that support our goals in the long run. Another key lies in valuing the process rather than the result. Celebrating small victories and understanding emotional self-sabotage patterns are fundamental steps to overcoming barriers. Consistency should be the priority, even on tough days, because every action, no matter how small, strengthens your self-esteem and fuels your self-confidence. Finally, true transformation happens through small daily habits and conscious actions. By committing to simple, measurable steps, you stop spinning in circles and begin building a new version of yourself. One that can achieve great things and sustain long-term progress. All while learning to celebrate each stage of the journey. If you found this content helpful and inspiring, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you won't miss the upcoming videos that will keep supporting you on this journey of growth. Know someone who could also use a little push to get back to chasing their dreams? Send this video to them and help spread this transformative energy.